the NBA fantasy basketball season. Here's a few guards I would target as sleeper guys heading into your fantasy drafts. The first guy is Joe Harris of the Brooklyn Nets. So Joe Harris, he was pretty decent last season with this net team, especially when they had injuries to Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, and James Harden through different parts of the season. So last year, 14.1 points a game, 3.6 rebounds, 1.9 assists, 3.1 threes a game, and 50% from the field. So right now, Harris, in some leagues, he's going undrafted or getting taken in the last round or two here of fantasy drafts. And right here, this net team, they're loaded with superstars, but they got some good role players as well, and Joe Harris definitely is one of them. So it wouldn't be surprising to me to see Harris have a lot of open three-pointers this season and him score about 15, 16 points a game and hit 2.5 to 3 threes a game. So right here, he's definitely a sleeper pickup in my opinion in your later draft rounds. And he's definitely a guy I would take. The next sleeper is Derrick Rose of the New York Knicks. So Derrick Rose last season with the New York Knicks, at some points of the season, he looked like vintage Derrick Rose, hitting floaters, hitting three-pointers. That pull-up jumper was lethal and on the money. And last season, 14.7 points a game, 2.6 rebounds, 4.2 assists, a steal a game, 1 3 a game, and 47% from the field. So very efficient D Rose was. But this season, he'll be a backup once again for the New York Knicks. But Kemba Walker in town, Emmanuel quickly in the mix, and Quentin Grimes as well. So this Knicks team, they got a lot of depth. Derrick Rose in the playoffs last season was playing 30, 35 minutes a game, but I think the Knicks are going to limit him through the regular season to 20, 25 minutes a game, but I still think he could get things going off the bench as a good scorer, get a few assists a game, and he's been very efficient from the field than in other seasons. So Derrick Rose, right now, he's going later in drafts or undrafted as well, and he's definitely a sleeper. The next sleeper, he's Thibault of the Philadelphia 76ers. So Thibault last season, we saw some flashes from him, even though the stats weren't all that great. 4 points a game, 1.9 rebounds, an assist a game, 42% from the field. But right here, he's going to play more, in my opinion, as Danny Green gets up there in age, and as Ben Simmons is sitting out right now, and there's no resolution yet if he's going to get traded or not. So Thibault, he's one of the better prospects over the last few seasons that we heard about over there in Philly, but he just hasn't had enough playing time. And if Simmons definitely gets traded in the next few weeks here, Thibault's a guy that definitely can contribute and have decent fantasy value, and a guy that's a sleeper. Right now, he's going undrafted in basic formats, but it wouldn't surprise me to see him play a major role this season and be a sleeper option. And the next option is Alec Burks of the New York Knicks. So Alec Burks, another veteran on this Knicks team, and last season he had a good year, was Alec Burks, hitting the three-point ball, scoring the basketball, and right now he's going undrafted in many fantasy leagues. 12.7 points a game, 4.6 rebounds, 2.2 assists, 2.1 threes a game, and 42% from the field. So right here, obviously, he's got to shoot the basketball a little better from the field here as Alec Burks, but he got a pretty decent contract to re-sign with the New York Knicks in the offseason. And I think this guy's a pretty good scorer. He's a good guy to have at the end of your bench on your fantasy team. And he's still going to play 25, 30 minutes a game for this Knicks team off the bench behind Evan Fournier and R.J. Barrett. So I think Burks is a good pickup. He could score the basketball. Tom Thibodeau likes him a lot, and he does a little bit of everything here, is Alec Burks. And fifth and final guard I have as a sleeper this season's Eric Gordon of the Houston Rockets. So Eric Gordon, we know he could score the basketball. We know he could hit the three-point ball. And last season, 17.8 points a game, 2.1 rebounds, 2.6 threes a game, 2.6 assists a game, and 43% from the field. So right now, Gordon, he's going undrafted pretty much everywhere in fantasy leagues here. We know he could score. I doubt he'll be on the Houston Rockets the whole season, but right now, this Rocket team, they're going to try to compete at least a little bit. And Eric Gordon will probably come off the bench as their sixth man once again here for this rebuilding Rocket team. But Gordon, he could score the basketball no matter his role, bench is starting, and he can hit the three-point ball. So right here, he's a guy many people forgot about, in my opinion. The only downside with him is obviously injuries throughout his career. But if Gordon stays healthy, I think he could be a decent player to have as a sleeper and take in the later rounds of your drafts. A few guards I have as sleepers heading into your fantasy basketball drafts this season.